Hey everybody, this is Herschel from High School Top 200. This is a review on the game on Saturday with Kings and Auckland Grammar. Now, I guess a lot of people around the country, this traditional game is probably the biggest one. A lot of people will show up to it. That's kind of why I don't really go to this game, because even if you go to the game, you're not really going to get a good place wherever you are. It's just so packed. They don't really have good seating kind of thing, which is something I think that Grammar and King should actually look into, because there is so much people that actually show up to this. It gets up to like 5,000 people sometimes. And it's not like Christchurch Boys where they have the stand there at Christchurch Boys, and you could get a good view of the game and everyone is controlled, where sometimes when you're at Kings and Grammar with so much people like that, you're probably going to be standing 5-6 rows back and you're probably not even going to see that much of the game. For me, it's no problem because I'm tall and I can kind of just see over a lot of people. But I mean, like, for others, they wouldn't be able to see it. But like, this is arguably one of the biggest. And I actually think, and I've been thinking about this for a few years now, is that they should have a rivalry week for First 15 Rugby. Because like even this week, it's not just Auckland Grammar and Kings. There's Hastings and Napier playing. That's a big one. And that's always one that's so close, and because all these boys have played together pretty much throughout their whole life and been in rep teams together as well, that's always kind of one to think about. But that's a big one. Christchurch Boys play St. Bede's. That's another big traditional match as well. I mean, if Rotorua and Tauranga had their game this week, and they had a lot of just maybe Otago and Southland play as well, and like just make one week just a big traditional rivalry week where you play your most hated team that you usually play against. Sacred Heart and St. Kentigern's would be a really good one on this week as well. But I mean, that's just something from my view, I guess, from a viewer's point, which would be really cool to watch, and for people that follow First 15 Rugby, or just have all the big traditional games all on one week. It'd be pretty interesting, especially when you can follow them all. Like Rosmini and Westlake would be another cool one to, another good rivalry to watch. Silverstream and Town would be another good one as well, all on the same week. But yes, this is a Grammar and Kings. Now, just the connecting teams for this is St. Peter's. So Auckland Grammar couldn't beat St. Peter's last week, which I thought that they were going to do. I actually thought Grammar was going to win this. And St. Peter's won this game. The week before that was the game I went to where the Kings played St. Peter's, and Kings blew them out at the end. Like, the score looked really one-sided, but the game wasn't really like that. It took it all the way to like the 60th minute to actually really get some distance between the score lines. But it really wasn't that bad when you actually watched it. And so, judging from that, and that scoreline difference where they beat Grammar by St. Peter's beat Grammar by 3 points, or 3 points or 2 points or something like that, and then Kings beating St. Peter's by 20, or whatever that big scoreline was, because it was actually big in the end. But that is obviously going to say that Kings has the upper hand. I feel like Kings roster base every single year kind of is kind of better than Grammar's all the time, but then Grammar has this way about them where they just never say die kind of attitude, and that's what they bring every single time. And so you can never really count out Grammar, and I'm not counting them out this year either, even though I think Kings has the better roster, and even though I think Kings has a better team. I'm not going to count out Auckland Grammar that quickly. But for Auckland Grammar to win, I believe that Auckland Grammar has to control the game from the Type 5. They have to go to where their strength is, and to me that is Solar. Solar Moa is in the front row. Him, Austin Atinga, Tua Herman, Sam Ranger will be the other one at hooker, if he's still playing hooker. And remember, and you guys got to remember that I don't have the rosters. Like, I haven't asked them. They haven't sent me rosters or anything like that. These are just things that I have picked up and what I know and what I feel like they should do. But if there's injuries that I don't know about, then, and I'm saying their name, then yeah, I apologize. I just don't know. But that's where I think that these guys can win it, because I think that Kings have a problem in their front row. I think Kings have problems fronting up from the front row back. The Kings are really led by their midfield and their backline and the quickness of the ball. But when it comes to a battle and they have to fight, they're not going to win that, because Mills can't do it on his own. And even though they do have a lot of players in there, Mills is the front guy for them, and he is the aggressive one out of everybody in pretty much in that team. Actually, he's probably one of the most aggressive ones in Auckland. That like, he's just that strong and that built, and that, you know, he's just got that so much energy. And so, if I was Grammar, I would invite him to come into there, which takes him out of the backline, which takes him out of attack, which takes him out of the game kind of thing, invites him to come in, so that makes him fight for the ball. Now, Kumani, Paasi, Leandro, Vakatini, and Morris, Waidor Morris. Those are the three front rowers that they usually go with. Israel and Levi, depending on which one, like Levi sometimes, because I think he's been injured for a little bit, but I mean, if he gets into the game, he has to front up. Kumani has to front up, Wairo has to front up, and Leandro has to front up to the point where they have to be over physical. They have to be they have to play with a lot of aggro, because their normal playing physicality is not high enough to reach someone like Grammar and the way that Solar plays. And if you've played Solar before, he's over aggressive. He'll throw you out of the ruck, like, and he'll, you know, he does stuff like that. And then, and when he comes in and he hits someone, he'll hit you hard, and that's what Kings don't have, and that they need to pick up. So with Solar, Austin, Tua Herman when he comes on off the bench, and Sam, like, I think that front row alone will control it. Who is it? Saya, Moala at lock. He would be another guy to watch for. And it's funny too, because they don't have tall locks. They don't have a tall team. They don't have a lot of go-to on the lineouts, and that's where I think Kings would win. Is that when it comes to line-out time, they just have to get up there faster. That's all it is. They've got the height on them. They will disrupt them every single time if they can beat them off the ground. This is where I think James Brown and Isaiah Mapusua, like, Isaiah has to get back into the game, into the starting. Shea is a year 10. Shea Clark is a year 10. Has been really, really good as a year 10. Like, you can't ask for more than what he's done as a year 10. He's such a good player, and he's a guy to watch out for as well. Come next year, as guys that I'm looking for to go into the top 160 year 11s next year. He's definitely going to be one of those top 5 guys that I'm thinking about. But when it comes to games like this, and it comes to physicality, Isaiah's the kid that you want to be in there. Judda and Noah are guys that I think have to be in there as well. Waipuna, I think his name is. He plays sort of a 6-7 kind of role. I would have Noah, Waipuna, and Mills. That would be my loose forward trio, along with Isaiah at lock, with James Brown, and then Leandro is actually I really like Leandro, and so I think him and Kormani just have to really stand up, and Whitehall has to stand up as well, and they just have to be physical, up the physicality, up, find out what your top rate of your top level of physicality is, and then just push it on past that, and then that's where I think that they have to play it, and that's where I mean. Grammar still have guys like Ollie and Zach and fellas like that too, but I think they're going to win up front, and the way that they're going to win is from up front, and that's where I would take it. Kings are going to, if I was Kings, I would move Mayhunter back to second five to be with Lucas. Aiden will stay at fullback. Zahn will stay at first five. Thorn will stay at halfback, and then Isaka will be on the wing with Temple, and I would play it that way because Mayhunter's attack is what's going to commit. He's going to commit defenders. He's going to break the line. He's going to break tackles. Fihi is the other one. He will most likely be the second five on that side, on Auckland Grammar's side, and him and Simeon would be the midfields. If I was going to be choosing it, that would be what the midfields are, and then Corey Evans will probably be the first five, and that's who they kind of have to go against as well. Is that Corey, Fihi, Simeon. Riley, I think, would be better at fullback, but I know that they have some changes on that team because they have Oliver playing sometimes as well as Marcel because they'll be on the wings as well. But Kings are going to have to attack from the midfield leading them into the game, giving a lot of ball to Mayhunter and Lucas, and that's where I think that they should play, and that's where I think that they will be able to win it. Auckland Grammar will win from the front. Kings will win from the midfield. And all that attack will go through. Simeon is also a really strong defender, so it's going to be really interesting to see who wins out of him and Lucas. So Simeon and Lucas will be two of the top centres in the country. They'll be going against each other, which will be great to watch. Komani is going to have a handful with Solar. Corey Evans as well, so it'll be cool to see Corey Evans and Zahn Sullivan go against each other, which would be just one of those things that they'll be fun to watch. Both of them are attacking players. Both of them are big kids. Both of them are aggressive as well. So watch for that ball to fly through the line a few times, and then wait. They'll take off. Both of them will. I think Zahn's kicking game is getting a lot better. I think it's getting back to where he's comfortable now, which was something that's I think not plagued, but it hasn't been the best starting off the year, but I think it's come through now, and so I really like that from Zahn and the way he's starting to kick the ball and sort of control the game from different aspects of controlling a game. I think for my prediction, I'm going to give it to Kings 17-13. Yeah, 17-13. For everyone that shows up to the game, get there really early. Maybe if it's ridiculous, even like an hour and a half early, because you're not going to get a spot if you're going to be late. And yeah, and watch out for the old people too, man. Like, give them a shot to have a look at the game too, and don't get in their way so much. But yeah, help them out as well. That's my review for this Kings and Grammar. Go support all the boys. Support your school. Show your pride for your school and your colours and things like that as well, and the crest that's on your chest. That's my review. Herschel Froome. Peace.